Holy crap, we're back. It's the night shift, and we got DDK in the middle. Look at that suave hair. How long does it take to coif something that gorgeous?
I don't know. I'm getting it cut tomorrow. So enjoy it whilst it lasts, Pocket.
Leave it.
Enjoy it whilst it lasts.
Is it, Dan, are you doing the thing where it's like actually a disaster in the back, but the camera view can't actually unveil that and it's just the front facing? Okay.
I have like 4 or 5 calyx sat back here. It's horrendous. It's honestly atrocious. It's so bad.
We got ZP, who has been listening to podcasts. He's been on the health grind, and recently ZP upgraded his camera purchase. ZP, why are you choosing to invest in yourself right now? Are you currently in a midlife crisis?
You know, there's no midlife crisis. Just feeling good and felt like the time to go about things. And also, I'm easily swayed by impulse decisions where before the show you go, dude, there's this new camera for $99. You should get it. I'm like, you know what? I should get this new camera. And that's just how it went.
Yeah, we don't have that new camera, but both he and I bought one thanks to Harris Heller. By the way, Harris Heller, if you and your friends want to become part of the night shift, we've got opportunities for sponsorships, and we've got some fun in store for you guys at home. Leviathan taking on Fearless Furies. You guys know the format by now, but if you don't, here's a quick reminder. We play best of ones, and then ZP, what happens after that?
Yeah, after the best one, you go to the money match where we're kicking off the day at $600 prize pool per region. But you can add to that prize pool with the exclamation point donate in the chat. And some weeks we've gone above our prize pool that we had in the Intel days, whereas Tetsio one week dropped just $1,000. It's like, oh, okay, we're just over what we were at before. So yeah, you know, it's a little bit variable, but either way, the players got something to play for.
$600 starting. That is coming from our CFO, Mr. Jake, aka one of the casters you'll be seeing later tonight. But with the community donations, we've been putting money in these players' pockets. Thank you all for supporting the game before its release. Tonight, DDK, though, we have a fantastic matchup. Leviathan is an up-and-coming squad with some familiar faces. They're taking on the Fearless Furies. Let's start, though, with Leviathan, the squad that represents like is it a water monster? What the hell is a Leviathan?
Yeah, it makes me think of like in Dota, there's Leviathan, who I actually don't know what the alternative name is for him, but yeah, he's kind of like a water monster creature thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Leviathan just seems like something massive, right?
We got any help here?
Yeah, Jake also came in. He's like Tide Hunter. He's like, yeah, Tide Hunter, Ravage, and all that. Or if you go to the Final Fantasy route, you also it's like one of the most iconic summons. I also think it's something from Mass Effect. I don't know.
Okay, so it's a very large aquatic creature, especially a whale.
Yeah, because it's in fucking Zelda. So, whales, big-ass whales, giant sharks. Chat, you tell us what they are. In the meantime, we'll tell you who plays for Leviathan, right? Because this is the team roster card.
There
Bam! ZP! You mentioned Obakim used to be on a squad that won a fudge ton of money. Where is he at right now? Who is this team?
Yeah, I mean, Leviathan, this is a team that's basically a bunch of the players in the old one-win squad, and then you add in Freemock from the Aegis Aurora days, Obakim, who this could be his permanent home with Buff Enjoyer seemingly on a semi-permanent hiatus right now, but it's a team with a lot of potential. You got OCs, who's maybe the most prolific farmer in the entire game. How he generates souls, I don't really know, but one of the quickest farmers I've ever seen. And then you have Overseas, who has really come into his own over time as one of the best playmakers in the game, whether you see him on something like a Mo and Krill, or more often in recent times, things like the Bebop. Look, this is a team that has a lot of talent on it. It is difficult to compete with the best of the best with teams like Abrahams and Fearless Furies, but you know, this team, I don't think they're too far off.
Julian says, oh man, the most handsome casters are here tonight. Thank you so much for that. That was also Citex putting in some compliments, but more importantly, DDK, Jester DM has been a tier 3 sub for 4 months now, and they're watching their European brethren take on the Fearless Furies. Who is this squad that tried to get somewhere in week 15 but didn't have the most success?
Well, Fearless Furies is a really cool team because I think it kind of feeds into the storylines we get here at Night Shift pretty nicely, because they're sort of like the typical team that is good enough to always be in third place and is getting better every week. So they're becoming more and more of a threat over time. And they've got obviously a lot of players that we are now pretty used to seeing. Surgery, someone that has very innovative gameplay and is known for like crazy tech in the game. So always very fun to watch him. And then obviously, you know, Ayano, Arzo, Coles, like these players are actually very high level. Bob as well. Like, I mean, ZP, to me, when I look at this team, it feels like they have the individual skill. It's just sort of the macro, the hero pool, just like some of these slight edges that they learn to improve week by week. And then in a few weeks, I feel like they could easily be contesting the top 2, assuming that the rosters stay the same.
Yeah, I think mechanical skill hasn't really been their downside here, even though maybe it's not quite at the same level. The big thing where I think Fearless Furies has looked bad, especially in some of the longer series have been in, is that they are a little bit more exploitable hero pool-wise. I mean, we've seen the matchups where Surgery could look great, playing something like a Doorman, and then, Surgery's entire hero pool is gone, and they get put on things that they're not as comfortable with. But that's also what you tend to see from teams that are like in the 3rd place spot from region to region, is that, good players, but not quite the depth of some of the better teams in the region.
It's a 3rd fight, and it's gone back and forth on shift 14. It was Fearless Furies taking down Leviathan. Since then, they have beefed up, and in week 16, that was just 1 week ago, it was a swift win for Obakim and friends. Now we have meeting number 3 in shift 17. The winner gets to move on and play for that $600+ with your guys' donation against the Abrahams. Yes, we are going to drop a Christmas album later on in the broadcast. Dan is going to be hanging Christmas lights throughout the month of December. If you want to send any special requests for designs, we'll give you Dan's address. But first, you have to subscribe to the channel, and we've got a Mo and Krill fight. DDK, can you guess who's wearing blue and who's wearing gold trunks tonight?
I mean, do I have a coin nearby to flip? No, I don't, because who is coins? Who is the pleb that uses coins in today's age? I mean, I always hate coins, but Surgery in
Furies in blue.
There you go.
So
ZP knows. Okay, Fearless Furies is already half health. He's getting bodied.
Yeah, it's not the best start off the parry, but the counter parry comes on in, and this is going to completely even us up. Though parry for parry.
He got 2 parries back to back.
This was nice. Oh
my God.
What a comeback. We're in the 4th quarter right now, ladies and gentlemen. From the top rope, the parry.
It's actually one of the more exciting ones that we've had.
Yes! Fearless Furies down 40% of their health, come back and win. Incredible parries. The haymakers, but more importantly, shout out to my man going to the top rope for the haymaker. This is what we need more of here in Deadlock. And what does he win for his efforts? That is actually Leviathan losing with the attempt. But what do the Fearless Furies win for their efforts, ZP?
Oh, they get their choice of 1st or 2nd pick, and in this case, they've decided we want to be 1st. They take down Billy, who, of course, is probably the biggest winner of the recent bounce patch. Probably one of the most hotly contested picks. But they decide that's not who they want to angle for as their 1st pick, because if you ban it, that means you're not trying to pick it 1st. You just don't want the other team to pick it as one of their next 2. Is it Infernus that comes in as the ban? No, it's Bebop. That could be an overban on Bebop, but I guess we'll see.
All right, yes. We are going to see what's going to happen here. Prediction, DDK, we're at halfway.
Infernus could come out. I think teams might be trying to split the Infernus and Wraith for that damage dealer. Shiv obviously is still up there as well. But yeah, Billy has kind of replaced Shiv in terms of level. I don't think Shiv is really any worse. I think Shiv's still insane. But I would expect to see an Infernus here as EP and like maybe a Paradox perhaps to kind of lock that in, especially given that Bebop is banned and Holiday's priority is pretty low. But Abrams comes out instead, which is, again, with the recent balance changes, not a bad pick.
Based on ZP, according to Mexican Orc in the chat. I see it.
Well,
it looks good.
What I'll say, Abrams coming on in, and okay, Vindicta. I mean, Vindicta was kind of rising up, even on like NA scrims this week. Part of that, you go, ooh, Aiden's pretty good. Of course, he's going to go for the Vindicta. But I think in general, EU has been more on board the Vindicta train than others, and she probably got a little bit better in this last patch. So you secure one frontliner when they may have been at a premium after the Shiv, and Billy's gone. You get the Abrams, you get the Vindicta after. Fearless Furies aside, yep, it's frontline. It is a full-on run on frontliners at the moment.
The Yamato pickup is really interesting as well. Obviously, a lot of comfort for the Yamato, and Wraith comes into play. It is very interesting that we haven't seen Infernus yet. Infernus is still S tier, I think. It's still a very good hero to be picking up, and especially against Shiv. I feel like that's something Leviathan would probably want. I feel like it would get banned. I feel like that's a very likely ban. I think Doorman is also another pick CP that's up there that we haven't seen. And okay, Mirage comes out as well. So a lot of new entries to this top 3 selection.
Yeah, I mean, Doorman that good, or is this like a player pick if he comes out?
I think Doorman is good. I mean, teams kind of oscillate on if they want to pick him or not. I will say the one trend that was like pretty high going into this week is that people figured out post-patch, wait, Mirage is really quite a bit better. Mirage has gone way up in both NA and EU. I'm a little bit surprised that Infernus is dropping this low. Maybe Infernus gets banned here, but maybe not when you look at who Leviathan is picking. I mean, you got Vindicta Mirage already. I don't know if they'd even be angling towards Infernus at this point. Realistically, I start wondering more on the support end here, where, you know, Kelvin is still getting play, but it's towards the end of the draft now. Same with Paige.
Shiv Kelvin?
I mean, just look at these bans and picks. Like, it's such a different meta now. Obviously, the last week was the first tournament with the new patch. So now we've really started to see some of these developments take place in the draft. So Infernus finally comes out, and obviously Leviathan getting Abrams with Billy banned, you know, most definitely okay, but not really quite as good. Lash is someone that's also seen some benefit from the new patch, you know, receives quite a few buffs as well. So far, pretty heavy spirit damage on Fearless Furies, and obviously we're in quite a gun dominant meta as well.
You need playmakers. Like right now, I'm looking at this and going, okay. Paradox finally comes in. Because I'm saying here, it's like, okay, there's no Bebop. Bebop gets banned in the beginning. Where's Paradox? Potentially a Holiday. I mean, you get Lash, who's like kind of halfway there. But, you know, for Leviathan, their pick potential here is going to be rough. I feel like they have to go Mo here and run at them to an extent.
Fat boy. Viscous works, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit for early game and a little bit of playmaking potential. I still think they'd want to go Mo the round this out. I mean, you get a little bit of that with Abrams, but if they don't get Mo or something here, I think Leviathan, you know, if they don't stay ahead, they're gonna have a difficulty to get back in the game. But okay, they go Holiday. That makes sense.
A yoinker.
I can see a world where Geist comes in as well. Geist, I think, also looking better. I think it just slight improvement since the last patch as well. And I think there's been more priority around Geist. But Talon comes in. That's very interesting. Very bursty lineup here now for Fearless Furies with Talon added into the mix.
Massive shout out to Solomon and Lotu, of course, our software engineers behind the scene who have made everything possible. We had some picks inside of the team there. What is going on, though? I can't make out the different columns. ZP, do we have a big screen? What are our pick priorities looking like after week 16?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could bring that up, shift to that real quick. And, you know, it was the first week after a big patch, so things weren't entirely solidified on what was good or bad. The one thing that everyone agreed on that was way, way above what it was in previous weeks, though, was Billy, where Billy didn't get banned at all that week, but was first picked across both regions. Doorman, of course, got some pretty significant play. Doesn't even get picked or banned today. Drifter also went way up, but maybe is a little bit down. Maybe it's kind of interesting because I think Drifter got really, really good, especially in his early phase of the general gun changes helped him out. But people may have over-responded to that in the draft last week, as we're seeing in the first game here today.
5 of the 6 games he was picked. Anyone that was surprising to move down in your eyes, DDK?
I mean, let's have a look. I mean, maybe Mina to some extent, moving down a little bit. I think in some of the priority, I think
Kelvin at a 2 is kind of a shocker to me because he was like a first rounder the week previous.
Yeah.
I mean, this most recent patch has really shifted things a lot. I think what's more interesting is for me is all of the heroes that have shifted up, because some of these heroes have had a massive glow up. Drifter being one of those who was kind of dead last in terms of priority, but now is very viable, and we will probably see him get picked today. So that's really, really fun to see. Vindicta going even higher priority as well, and Mirage as well. Big winners, it seems like, in the new patch.
ZP, Lady Geist had 2 first picks. Same thing with Yamato, and Warden even got a first round pick. Do we expect to see more of them tonight?
You know, Warden, maybe not. I think when I've been doing my research going into it, Warden actually went way down in priority. I think he was actual God mode server admin at the beginning of the patch, and then he got immediately slapped down with nerfs. And people have kind of realized, okay, maybe he's not as good relative to running things like a Mirage by comparison. So maybe not so much that. Geist, I think, particularly in NA, will get picked a lot. I think Geist is never bad. And I think Geist right now is actually pretty reasonably good, but won't be seen as much in EU. I'm not sure. I think he'll definitely get played quite a bit in NA, though.
Why is there no Drifter? Does he suck now? Was he figured out in 1 week, DDK?
No, I don't think that he sucks. I think right now in the current meta, I think a lot of stuff is playable. I think Drift is definitely playable. I think it's going to come down a lot to just the preferences that the teams have, because more heroes are available to actually make work at this point. So and maybe Drift is a little bit restrictive in some of the options that you have, but ultimately he is viable.
We'll be talking about all the heroes during the game. In the meantime, we have 1,000 people here on the channel. If you have a subscription to Deadlock from Project Night Shift, do me a favor. Put a pregnant viper in the chat for me. On the mic for game number 1 in EU, it's DDK and ZP.
Hello.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you ever expect that to be our tagline? You know, drop a pregnant viper in chat. Like, did you see this reality a year ago?
No. And I'm sure once we get back to sponsored shows, it's going to get stopped.
Do you guys miss not working with me?
No, this is great as far as this goes. I just think it's reality. It is our most popular emote. I never saw it us heading here. But Dan, taking a look at the lanes and where we're at. We've got Viscous Infernus in on the left for Leviathan. On the right-hand side, the old favorite, Vindicta Abrams, back into the play.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, at a quick glance, well, actually, one thing I'll say off the top actually is that Holiday did seem to kind of like, I'm curious where the value is going to be with Holiday, how good it's going to look, because I don't think Holiday necessarily got that much worse. But it really seems like she's had quite a reaction that people feel, like the perception is that she got kind of quite a lot worse. So that's one interesting question.
Before pre-patch, she was full gun carry, and she still was pretty good early. So you would pick Holiday early because you got someone that would dominate your early to mid game, and then was actually your win condition in the end game. Now, when people go Holiday, unless you have lost all your marbles, you go Spirit build. So you're way more on going for the 4.8k Spirit spike and getting high damage in from the barrel end of things. So her style of play has changed, but it's still good enough to be drafted.
It is a hard lane as well. You've got Holiday and Mirage up against Yamato and Talon, so the burst damage from Yamato Talon is actually going to be quite ridiculous, especially if we, see the extra shots coming online early for Talon, which I imagine we will, but at fisticuffs. Oh my god, Tanner, is this Tanner? Where is he? Where is he at? He's just bullying people. When I see Abrams, I think Tanner now. It's conditioned into me.
I mean, look, he's big, he's buff, he's charging the walls. It is Tanner behavior, even without Tanner playing it. But, as I look at here, the other thing, too, that's interesting, that I kind of want to talk a little bit more is, what lanes you put in your strong lane versus your weak lane. Like, for Leviathan, their strong lane is the right-hand side. They decide, okay, we're going to do Abrams, Vindicta, and, you have a little bit more advantage there. You get the church at 6 minutes, and, you make this lane, as is like probably the strongest lane combo they have, depending on how mid goes. But okay, Cult ends up falling in on the left side.
Yeah, I think for Fearless Furies, I really do think that mid lane is going to set the tempo for them going into that mid game, because it should, in theory, just be very dominant with all the Spirit Burst damage, and then you can get a lot of roam off of winning that mid lane. So that is definitely, that to me is a pretty big focus. And you can see how much the wave is pushed already, starting to crash into the tower. And they can maintain this pretty effectively. It's going to be hard to get close to Yamato and Talon with all the burst damage, but Mirage jumping in for this. But the parry is absolutely perfect, and the punish is looking to be followed on through. And Mirage using a jump pad to make an escape, but in fact, this Holiday that's going to die instead.
Yeah, things a little bit back and forth here in the mid lane, to say the least. The one big change that we saw last week, though, in terms of overall gameplay flow, is that with the structural changes made to Guardians, you have to get really whomped in the beginning to lose a Guardian in the first 4 minutes. Like, at the pro levels of play, Guardians were lasting to 6-7 minutes more reliably. They'll lash. You'd take it for a ride. Not as much fall through there, but really for Fearless Furies, struggling to hold on this right-hand side, which isn't even the strongest lane to begin with. I mean, Wraith, Lash against Vindicta Abrams, you're already working at disadvantage from the jump, and in a way, it's kind of a, okay, let's try to survive and not have Wraith get too far behind lane.
Yeah, Wraith is now, by the way, if you are new to the meta, the new meta, Wraith is very dominant. Wraith is pretty much the best damage carry you can probably have. towards the into that late games, and is much better in the early to mid game because of the overall gun buffs. So with the card spam that you can get, overall just is a complete menace once again. And so you definitely need to ensure that the Wraith doesn't get out of hand. So if Arzo is able to just become this player that gets to farm with impunity, that's going to be an extremely large problem for Leviathan.
Also, that was a tragic sequence of Freemock there. Freemock couldn't get on top of the high ground, had a little bit of trouble getting behind cover, had to use a charge in a rough spot. That was just a comedy of errors there. Kelto ends up falling. Looking at the left-hand side, Obakim, a little bit low under some of the pressure, but in turn, forces Bobby back to base. Bobby, as it were. Bobby, Bobby. Take your pick.
Bob.
Or just Bob, yeah.
Yeah. Chip returning to the lane. 20 Paradox. And that did actually give up, Yamato going away from that mid lane did actually give up some HP on that mid tower too, and gave up some presence there also. So that's going to be some needed breathing room for Leviathan there, who otherwise have been, despite that shenanigans we saw earlier on the right side lane with the Abrams and Wraith 1v1, it's been pretty good for Leviathan.
We've been a bit ahead of middle. Like, you look at the middle Guardian pressure right now. Now they're forced a little bit back because they had to go back to heal. Mirage right now is just staying in for a little bit of souls, but overall, I mean, they've had a little bit of an edge in middle, and once more, pushing up again here. So they're able to grab something, but off in the side lane, again, it's Lash running afoul of Abrams. Freemock, though, taking a bit of poke in turn. Just gonna back out for now. Not quite having the button mishaps he had a little bit earlier.
Death comes in many forms.
Incoming birds. There we go. Well, they're getting punished on this lane. Again, it's very hard to feel squishy to survive against all the burst damage. Speaking of which, Shiv is getting fisted, for lack of a better term. And
he's a little bit easier to kill with some of the builds that people have been going about here. So, one of the most important things is that everyone's hitting their 4.8k spikes right now, which is probably one of the biggest changes of the last patch. And for Shiv, normally you would have gone something like a Battle Vest or, Enchanter's Barrier, or, something that gave you a little bit more damage and survivability at the same time. Now, a lot of people, when they play Shiv, I mean, there's a few different ways of going it, but it's pretty popular to just go full Spirit and, send knives at the beginning. You get more damage, but you're also a little bit more killable than you were in the previous patch when you go that build.
Yeah, another thing, it's Tana pins one to the wall for a snipe combo, but it's like everyone's gonna actually stay out there for the moment. Freemock is caught between a player. See if he can escape. In the meantime, back into middle we go. And Yamato is between a rock and a hard place, it seems. Trying to get the escape here into maybe the mid boss. No. Looking to turn things around here on the Mirage. Mirage is able to do a lot of burst damage, though, when those Jin's Mark stack up. And with those Jin's Mark and the Infernus Burn and the Crows and so on for Leviathan, I feel like you've got to get the debuff remover online, especially for Shiv, for Fearless Furies in this game.
Well, Leviathan able to be first to strike here for the Guardian. 8 minutes in, just about, for the first Guardian, and immediately see Overseas moving in on the rotation, heading over towards the left-hand side. Probably perfectly content to let OCs farm in middle. A little bit of check onto the Lash, courtesy of Freemock, who's immediately backing out as the cards come flying. But now, got a Sai coming back in, swap ready to go. So things heating up here in the left-hand side as another bird is out, heading off to the right. What damage is this one going to do?
Almost, but not quite enough damage. At first, ZP with the little med pack changes with the way the healing sheepers work. I thought, when I was first playing that on the patch, it's like, it feels like I'm getting less heals, but it actually feels like it can be more because it's obviously dictated to by how much health is missing as well. So when you get like a stacked lane with like 2 or 3, sometimes you just get like a mega heal.
Good point, Dan. There's a request. Can you please stop saying fisted? That's from the chat. Continue on.
Fair request is where it's at right now, except when a Viscous is involved and it's a puddle punch, and that is quite literally a fist coming at you. Like, that is the technical term for a puddle punch. Also,
or you could deny the request and see how many times you could fit it in a broadcast. Back to you guys.
On the right hand
Choose your own
side,
adventure.
The charge over. Ayano down. So is Overseas. 1-for-1 trade here thus far. In on the right. Freemock up on the zip. In on the harass. Looking for the Wraith. Vindicta a little bit low, but able to go for the fadeaway. Gets the assassinate. And Leviathan holding on.
Even look like a headshot too. That extra 20% damage.
Yep.
Actually kind of significant amount of extra damage, but Flying Strike comes on through. There's a Google. 35 health is able to roll away.
Oh no. Bit of a lead starting to be built up here from Leviathan. Not only reflected off the first Guardian take, though their right Guardian now pretty low. Reflected in Souls also, and you know, one of the dangers that they have to deal with is just Overseas continually roaming. A little bit of a skirmish right now versus Shiv and Talon, getting 2-on-1 in the jungle. But you know, your Holiday, you're a little bit slippery. You're able to just, you know, bounce pad away, get back over to your Vindicta, who's now in the left.
Yeah, just gonna have a quick look at the farmer at the moment, and I was about to say MTD Dreams, who just died, is actually doing quite well on the farm, and is collected by Overseas for Leviathan. And the game's looking relatively even right now, and will be dropped in favor of taking down the left side Guardian. So looking to up the tempo, Leviathan. And but they've still got one more tower to go. There's one last Guardian they've got to deal with on the far right lane, and that urn is now coming across the map.
Kind of an interesting choice here. I mean, you have a small window maybe to turn in before Death Slam is up, but when I look at who has the better fight for urn, I mean, you can make the argument either way, but if Death Slam is up, I actually think turning in is a little bit rough. But right now, there's a small window where it's not up and online. We'll see if they just go to turning the urn. Right now, Overseas looking very, very aggressive towards it, but here comes the Owl. Express mailed over to the urn fight, up, over, in, nearly takes down Freemock outright as Freemock under all sorts of pressure gets hit the telekinesis thereafter. Again, support here by the Holiday. Lasso in across the pillar, and Arzo perhaps about to go down.
I'm not on your payroll, Wraith.
Yeah, really well done controlling the urn once again. Oh, burst damage. Power shots coming on through. One more is all it will do. Or all it will take to do him in. But it looks like things will be good for the time being. It's a big fight here on the right side of the map here over this right side Guardian. Here, Fearless Furies trying to keep the defense going. They did lose the Guardian, but they might be able to find some kills on the pursuit. Leviathan, though. Good defensive kill. Still might be another fight in this OZP.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit skirmishy here onto the right-hand side, but if you're Leviathan, you know, you already got the prize, which is the urn. You're about 10k up. Also, you know, you look at how some of these fights have gone down. Fearless Furies, well, it's you, Deadlock. We got to pause. But I was going to say is, you know, even the last fight didn't work out. Surgery's actually getting pretty good value off on the birds in some of these engagements that have kept some of the fights a little bit closer than they might otherwise be. Also, one of the most telegraphed things in the game, whereas from the observer point of view, you look at the beating map, it's like, there's a bird coming in.
Oh, that's a wallpaper right there.
He's having fun.
It reminds me of the things that dogs do to, you know, sometimes you got to take an extra measure, you know, sometimes.
Well, I was going to go more the realm of like when you're made of goo, you know, everything is like sledding in the wintertime, but that's also not wrong. Like the position there, when that's owned a dog, like, you know the pose, Dan. It's a thing.
Either that or he's starting his OnlyFans profile. Something. I don't know. I could always change the topic as well. Would you prefer that?
Nah, we're good. We're good. I mean, look, I'm just, we'll just know we've hit the, you know, the real dark era when the game involves like free color palette swaps, and then you never see green viscous anymore. You just see white viscous in every single game. I mean, look, man, that's just once color swaps are a thing, if they're a thing, you know,
it's just the rules of the internet. Hey, it's just what it is.
Oh. Speaking of rules, looking at the left-hand side, that is a Mirage. OC says no Traveler up, and 3 members of Blue Team heading directly his way. So we'll see if OC is able to make the grand escape here. Going off into the jungle on his escape route, looking for the jump pad, but under heavy assault here into the garage, unable to get away.
And that's why Talon is a menace. Uh-oh, Viscus in trouble. Or maybe Yamato's in trouble. Everyone's in trouble. Oh, but Lash comes in, and there's a big old ground strike to ensure the kill gets traded out. So very responsible stuff there from Ayano. And now the pursuit onto Abrams. He's dead. He's dead. He's gone.
Again, a simple attack onto the Mirage turning into a much larger back and forth engagement. Look at the overall map, though. The interesting thing here is Leviathan, despite being, ahead overall in souls, they've lost some of the lead they're at. They're at nearly 10k souls, now down to 3k. And look at the overall macro. Fearless Furies has actually done a little bit better job of getting some harass on to the walkers recently. So, realistically here, Dan, about as even as it gets. I mean, look at the allocation here, too. Both teams done a pretty good job of funneling souls to who needs it between, Yamato, Wraith on one side, Mirage and Furnace on the other.
Yeah, and the chase there onto Shiv. Colt is trying to get out of that position. You've got a good coordinated strike there from Leviathan, trying to gank into the opponent's jungle. And looks like it's being defended. Lash ultimate in the distance. Looks like he managed to catch the Holiday. He does get cubes into safety. So Leviathan preventing any picks from going against them at this point in time and able to disengage somewhat safely. And the urns are coming up here now, ZP, as well as the bridge buffs. So looks like they're going to be split one bridge buff a side.
Dan, one thing we didn't really get into as we see this owl's gone, more of a scouting owl. We didn't really talk too much about which team feels better in the end game here. And as I look at both teams right now, I actually think Fearless Furies, they're the team that's okay with this going to the end game between the Amato, Shiv, and the Wraith in the end. Like, yeah, I mean, Mirage and Furnace can be a threat in the end game, but I think Leviathan is actually under more pressure to get things done here early as Ayano just caught between a rock and a hard place there. Pick off going against Fearless Furies is a bit of a disengage.
Never like to have to pop the shadow transformation just to survive. And the Urn is in the meantime getting carried back across the map, but it does put ball in Leviathan's court. They've got to try to stop it. And they are trying to intercept at the moment. They do have position on the Urn drop-off. And now this fight in the Suka shop is going to not look very good at all for Flammable. Pretty rough to get caught as Vindicta in an enclosed space like that. Ooh, we do have Lasso up at the moment. Barrel, Lasso, we get a catch. And it is Talon. That's like perfect. The perfect person to get. He's very squishy. And he will be annihilated. And the fight continues here. Leviathan really looking to prevent this Urn from getting carried across the map. And in the meantime, it is Empty Dreams pushing the lashback on the Walker on the left side. So there might be a kill in it for him. He's looking to finish this one off. He's going to burn him down. There's the kill. And maybe gets the Walker too. And they might just get this Urn.
Yeah, the Urn is really, really important, I think, for Leviathan to control here. I mean, also, for Fearless Furies, it's kind of a rough spot where even if they have Urn control, the fact that you have Viscus on the other side inherently is just making Urn fights a little bit miserable for them to turn in if they don't get a good Death Slam off of it. But Leviathan, once more, getting a bit of an early lead. And again, I think this is where they need to be at this point in the game. If this goes super late, Fearless Furies is going to outscale them. So realistically, they need to start converting this, and really, they can get another pick going. The mid boss would be good, but Obicum gets caught. Meanwhile, off onto the launch pad. Yamato looking real low, has the barrier up, desperately trying to escape, and should be able to make it. Oh, well,
the barrier expired right before the Djin's Bark popped.
The timing is actually tragic there, Dan.
Beautiful. All right, okay, someone's just playing Kovacs. That someone is OCs, who is on 20k. And I mean, I like the late game on Leviathan as well. I mean, it's not bad. I know you're applying their preference to Fearless Furies. I don't necessarily disagree, but it's not bad at all on Leviathan.
It's a soft advantage, I think, between the two teams. Like, it's not unwinnable, but I think between the two, if you're Leviathan, you want to end it a little bit earlier, just because of how stupid the frontline situation is going to get if you have to deal with farm Shiv and farm Yamato. But right now, pressure still into the Fearless Furies side of the jungle as we see Obicum taking off. Doesn't really want to take the 1-on-2 just yet.
They fight in mid in the meantime. A defense around the walkers, and Shiv's getting absolutely busted. And this is the problem. Mirage can be quite devastating if he gets his power spike online at the right time here. Finds another player as well, the Wraith. I don't know if there's a TP left over, but it's just a fight to the death, and everybody's going to die here. It's a trade, and I think that's going to very much favor Leviathan, looking to push for even more. And there it is, an exploding Talon at the hands of, I want to say Tanner, but it's Abrams. Not played by Tanner, but played by Freemark.
So they're going to give up Walker on the right-hand side, but in turn, they're going to, well, get a mid-boss kill. We'll see what happens in terms of mid-boss contest. I think you have a Yamato, you have a Lash, you send a contest here. Because between Shadow Transmission and Death Slam, I think you could get one rejuve charge if you get in here in time. Leviathan, they still have the edge. They may be able to get picks off. Oh, Bobby doesn't actually get the Shadow Transmission off in time. Death Slam, though, comes in. Right now, rejuve split, and it's two that go the way of Fearless Furies. In the end, the Death Slam does its job, and even Leviathan get the cleanup kills here. Fearless Furies have avoided the worst of the mid-boss engage, as, okay, rejuves are gone for both sides, so impact of the mid-boss is gone, and Fearless Furies, they're going to suffer a little bit more at the end of this, but at least they don't have to deal with a 3-charge rejuve from Leviathan.
I mean, yeah, totally epic Death Slam to get those seals. You're totally right. I mean, that had to happen. But then you get the 1v1 between Lash and Infernus. Infernus is almost double the amount of souls of Lash. Lash is impoverished in this game. And this Walker on the mid lane is looking like it's going to get taken out. And in the meantime, whilst this gets focused, we do have the right side lane getting pushed by Overseas so that they can then go for the right side Walker off the back of this one. At least there's no rejuice here, but they still have massive control on the map. Shadow Transformation is popped, but Infernus is untouchable right now. Great backline coverage also from the Vindicta. And this is just problematic, but Leviathan, did they go a little bit too far there on the right side? They might get caught in these choke points. Seismic Slam into the ceiling. Not as effective as you might think, and there are a couple kills cleaned up here. This is awesome work from Fearless Furies with the punish here as they look to pursue more kills. Now, is it Infernus that could go down as well? They're looking for OCs. They're going to find him, and this is a huge conversion, ZP.
It's really big. I mean, it's going to let them even things out. It was about to be a 20k soul gap. Now, off these pickoffs, Fearless Furies is going to be able to regain a little bit of map control. They're going to be able to get the comeback earn on their side, which, you know, is applied by comeback earn, but they're going to get the earn. They're going to be able to get a good chunk of the jungle, and realistically, post earn, we're going to be back to even here. And for a comp that, you know, wants to live a little bit more in the late game, I think for Fearless Furies, you are thrilled with how the sequence of events have gone. It could have been way worse giving up mid-boss, but it wasn't, and now you're kind of sitting pretty here, Dan.
Oh, it's crazy. That's the Death Slam difference for you. I feel like it's rare. It's rare to see Death Slam these days come into play like that, but another catch hit. This is a potentially huge. What a stoppage, though. On the Paradox is looking for this kill. He knows he's going to die, but can he take down the Infernus? Absolutely not. Big heal for the Infernus. That's the heal bane for you as he finishes off that kill. And Abrams is just chilling there. Can Fremog convert this one? Yamato back into the mix. This Infernus just will not die. And he gets healed up again, I think, from the heal bane and the barriers coming on through as well.
Well, from Feast to Famine we go. Fearless Furies giving up 3. Leviathan off the respawns, able to immediately reassert themselves on the map. Seeing a little bit of fancy maneuvers here from Ayano, who desperately wants to escape the pressure. Off to the jump pad. Doesn't get stunned off the rip. Stuns the Viscous. Gets a little bit more room. Knockdown, though, coming in. Still not out of the line of fire. Down into the mid-boss pit we go. Ayano desperately trying to get away. Viscous right hot on his heels the entire way through. And Lash, this may be coming to an end. It's been a long journey, but it's one that ends in piles of goo.
Yeah, the express shot Viscous is still insane burst damage. I think this build has a lot of staying power.
Yeah, it's a build that, you know, look, I don't know the ultimate origin, but it looked the most impressive back in the Buff Enjoyers days where we saw D-Mov running Viscous and, you know, being a mainstay on the character. Of course, now is kind of gone throughout the entire game, both regions. A lot of people use that particular Viscous build, but it's solid. I mean, it just works out really well with this kit, but also, quick little snatch. Grabbing Shiv. See if the follow-through is going to be here. Holiday in on the barrels. Rapid recharge. Not much cooldown on the barrels. Looking for one more. Every barrel heading into Shiv as Shiv desperately trying to get away.
Oh, the jump pad. Where the hell did it go? That's pretty unfortunate there for Leviathan for Overseas, but Yeah, it's somewhat disastrous after that comeback, as you mentioned, CP, for Fearless Furies. But I mean, it could be so much worse. They're still in a great spot where it's just a 12k difference, 13k difference. So it's somewhat negligible depending on the engagement. So we just have to see how it comes into play. But one of the scary factors is, you know, Empty Dreams 30k. However, the counterbalance on the other end of it is Arzo, who is at 35k, leading on the souls in the server on the hardest carry of carries in the current meta. We'll have to see if that's going to be enough.
A lot's going to depend on Arzo being in the right place at the right time, getting clearance in these fights, and not getting dove on, because the thing you play Wraith is that you do pump a lot of damage once you get up to like 36k, but you need the... Oh, and another lasso overseas. Grabbing Ayano though. In off the parry, gets the punish right after, courtesy of a GT backup. So what was going to be a catch for Leviathan turns completely the opposite way. Other side of the area, Bobby, Shadow Transformation for now. Walking away to a clear area, backed up by the Wraith, but Flammable getting caught too. 2 down for Leviathan as Fearless Furies now. Going to open up a good chunk of the map, but still a ways away from mid-boss, minute 30 out.
Bridge buffs are coming up though, so those kills will allow them to likely get advantage on picking up the bridge buffs and potentially the urn, although nobody on the left side of the maps at the moment. So if the urn spawns right sides, that should be takeable for Fearless Furies, who are looking for picks, I think. No, okay, they're TPing across to the left side. And they're going to find Freemok, who is completely isolated. And does spawn on the right side, but Freemok, he's got no assistance here. He is alone. And there are players all around. Can they take him down as Freemok tries to survive? Seismic Slam's going to come on through to try to get out in time. And no, he hasn't Seismic Slam just yet. In fact, he's able to escape without it. And teammates are going to be coming in, but there's OCs that will go down here.
Losing OCs is rough. And I do wonder if we're starting to hit the point where, okay, Leviathan, you're a little bit ahead, but you're feeling the scaling a little bit more intensely here. Still able to find Cult, even things up 5 versus 5. Leviathan all moving together, hoping to maybe find someone in the Fearless Furies jungle. And that is a jump and then some. The movement tech from Obakim. Did you know you're part goo, but also part spaceship at this point?
Yeah, love the movement tech there. And I gotta say, 40k souls for Arzo right now. Arzo is big, he's fat. He is massive. And I'm really curious how he's going to be handled in some of these fights. That's his damage output. He could just very easily melt people away. What do we see? There's a Siphon Bullets, Capacitor, Mercurial, Magnum. He's got the debuff remover, Surge of Power, so he's doing some damage.
You know, I'm looking at the other side, and I mean, granted, you need 2 in all likelihood because of the debuff remover, but no disarming hex. But okay, what about just high pressure on the Arzo? Your carry is dead.
Oh my God.
Absolutely run over in on the left side. A huge opportunity here for Leviathan. Mid boss is up, Wraith is down, the chase down still happening. The lasso in on the Paradox out of there. Clean 2 for Leviathan, and you know mid boss is coming up next.
That is tragic. I feel like we've all had that experience where you're just out of position in a fight just so badly, you had no idea how bad it was. Just getting caught by multiple players there as the damage carry and just getting CC'd into oblivion. I feel like that's just horrendous.
Oh.
We get a fake out on the mid boss now.
You know, okay, you're respecting the Death Slam, you're respecting the Shadow Transformation. This is a safer play, but I don't know if you had to be the safe up 2. Regardless, it's how Leviathan want to play it. In on the chase down. They get the Shadow Transformation out and nowhere for Bobby to go after. Now, with this being done, you're still up 3. The mid boss is low. You don't have to worry about Shadow Transformation. The only thing you'd have to worry about right now is Lash, and Lash ain't gonna be there, damn it.
No. He was invited, but he had other plans. There you go. Clean 3 rejues, maybe as it should have been earlier in the game.
Hey, we got chat deeming a new term, or at least a term I haven't seen. It's probably been around the Deadlock community. Goovement. As far as Obakim.
Ooh, slippery.
Goovement. I like that. Also, you want to see some goovement on the prize pool? Right now we're at $1,200, but you can donate to add a little bit of extra to our teams competing today. That prize pool in the upper right, you can change its value. You have the power.
Get Goovy. Moving, gooving. And here we go. Intercontinental ballistic bird. Straight on his noggin. Gotta be careful messing with the Wraith though. But Arzo is going to be safe for now. And in the meantime, is not in this more important fight on the right side of the map. They're going to have to try to take that left side walker down. They just have to try to trade this one out. They're going to lose the right side. It looks like the chase down is coming on through. The seismic slam to try to intercept, but oh, got to be careful. The cube comes in very clutch there, keeping Fremok alive as they disperse.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if Fremok entirely read that one properly. Also, look, for getting objectives down, pretty good macro coming out here from Fearless Furies, where, yeah, you're getting pushed by Leviathan, but you take the opportunity to get on the left walker. And now, if you could get OCs, this would be huge. OCs dancing to and fro, getting shot here by Bobby. But he's going to be able to get away. Meanwhile, off into the mid lane, a little bit more action going on. Taking a look at Overseas. Ready to go, no lasso, no problem. Got the barrels, and as Paradox just sits behind the wall of shame, going, you know, this probably isn't going to end well, and it does not.
Yeah, difficult situation. 20k difference, still not unrecoverable. And Fearless Furies, they do have the extremity lanes heavily pushed. So they are forcing Leviathan to, you know, go and clean those up a little bit. That does buy a little time. Those rejuves are up still though, and the urn is spawning on the right side of the map, at the right side for Leviathan. You can collect that with impunity.
You know, I don't love this from Leviathan right now. I like, okay, you're using the last little bit of rejuve here for urn. You still have 3 rejuve charges, Dan. Like, I do think you could be a little bit more aggressive than where you're at right now. Like, Fearless Furies are down 1. You could be getting base guardians, and your play is urn. I don't love the shot calling. I really don't in this situation, especially with only 25% left on rejuve. Maybe you have a little bit more time, but now if you go for, you know, base guardian push after, you're right in the zone where not only may you not get base guardian, the chase down, you might not get full use out of your rejuves. This is, the time management is a little bit awkward, I think.
Well, they are in the base with the rejuves right now, so they might be okay.
Hello.
Okay, this 1v1 is not going to be... I mean, it's never going to be a good 1v1 against Infernus at this point in the game. Yamato doesn't have ult left anymore, and this is going to be the end of Yamato, I fear. But the parry's coming on through. The parry attempts in the closet. Is there a way to win this? No, absolutely not. Half HP left for Infernus, as the base now is under full assault from Leviathan, looking to do as much damage as they possibly can. Fremok is just dancing around on the Abrams, as is OC's on the Holiday, bouncing around. Those shrines still up at the moment, though, so maybe Fearless Furies have somewhat of a defense, as this attack is fairly spread out.
They have to wait 5 more seconds. They're probably timing things here, and yeah, rejuves are gone, so what should have been a push that, you know, could have gone shrines and patron, that part of it is over. Now the chase down comes in, something the Leviathan can still punish. It's not free for Fearless Furies by any stretch of the imagination, especially down Yamato, but it's also not risk-free anymore for Leviathan, as we see Fearless Furies defending. And yeah, Leviathan, they're out, Dan. They're back to add on to their advantage, which is substantial here. I mean, it's 40k souls, but Fearless Furies remains alive.
And look how aggressive they are going right now. Fearless Furies all onto the left side lane, expecting maybe a fall off to get the farm. And it's a beautiful catch, taking down Infernus immediately. This is the exact way you need to start the fight to bring yourself back into it. Massive pick. And now there's only going to be, it's going to be a 6v5 for quite some time. And that was really decisive, CP. I feel like a lot of teams in this spot might be a little bit afraid to come out of the base, but they were so fast to that pick.
They have a big play coming up here if they want to go for it. If they've been properly timing here, Dan, they can start mid-boss, potentially get it down before Empty Dreams can fight. You can start up the 6-on-5, but here right now, swap over Obikim, potentially caught down, another pick-off, and this is so big for Fearless Furies now. They're going to be able to get the walker. They're going to catch up a lot in souls, and they're going to get a fantastic attempt at mid-boss so long as no one else gets picked. Overseas, though, trying to keep Leviathan in it. In off the lasso, enough to take down Psy. Massive pick-off here from Leviathan, where Overseas has been the hero time and time again in this game. Up and over he goes. Another barrel. Do you add on to the shiv as well? Do you equalize and stop the mid-boss threat? You do. Overseas making Holiday look all sorts of good.
And Surgery goes down as well. 3 down now for Fearless Furies, with Empty Dreams coming back up in a moment. This is looking like it could get a lot worse because Leviathan now just looking to surround, crush, annihilate all the rest of Fearless Furies. Now down only to 2 players left alive as the parries come on through. The Freemark is trying his best in this situation, but they still have the numbers advantage. Leviathan will clean up the kill onto the Yamato, and they've got the mid-boss now. Easy does it.
You wonder if going all in for Midwalker, because that was a play for Midwalker, and Midwalker, under the best of circumstances, is really difficult to attack. You had 2 pickoffs there. Fearless Furies, they could have went back and just gone for the mid-boss 6-on-4, played around Death Slam. Instead, you stay a little bit too long, you get punished by Overseas, who's been playing out of his mind on the Holiday, and now you give up what is likely going to be the game-ending mid-boss.
And it's fitting too, I feel like, that it is from the Holiday, who I think has dropped in value quite a lot, but showing late game playmaking potential is still pretty enormous in the right hands. And with every lane push, with the rejuves, and a 30-40k advantage now on the Souls, this game is well and truly in Leviathan's hands. And looking at the minimap, OCs is still pretty deep, and Freemark as well. So not sure what was going on there.
It probably wasn't intentional, but it's like, yo, guys, let Freemark die, then we're gonna hit the rejuve. This shit's gonna be hilarious. Like, look at this dumbass that has a respawn timer. Okay, that is not how that went down, but you never know. Maybe it did go down that way.
Well, he probably felt like, oh, I'm gonna die. Don't use a rejuice.
Oh god.
Probably is what it was. But that was kind of odd though. That he was so deep. Is there a chance for something to be done here by Fearless Furies in the midst of all of this? It's going to be very difficult here, ZP, but they're going for it.
Got 56k Wraith. Can Arzo stay alive to actually get the damage in? Death Slam up, catches Flammable. Into the ground strike, down goes Flammable. Already used one of the rejuve charges, so 2 full dead here from Leviathan. Fearless Furies managing to stay alive. Obakim in out of the cube, welcoming party ready for him, courtesy of Lash and Shiv. And the goo going down bit by bit, piece by piece. And
ZP. ZP, it's turned around again.
Sloppy. I think that's my takeaway from this here, Dan.
But it
off
feels
the
good.
rejuve, yeah, it does feel good, but off the rejuve, it's a little bit of a slop fest from Leviathan. You shouldn't be in the spot after getting a clean rejuve, being up the souls they are. Just not where you want to be.
They still have 1 rejuve, and they have still 33k advantage, so they're still in a good spot. But yeah, it is still recoverable for Fearless Furies, and I keep there's been multiple instances of this, but they're going for the base. They're going to rush it down, ZP.
Yeah, you still got 1 rejuve. They're looking for it here and now. The barrels continue to be massive. The consistency out of is ridiculous. Lasso lands, doesn't quite pull him out. But now going for the patron, and at this point, you might just stay for a little bit more. Another barrel in from Overseas. And now, Dan, you go for the finish here now, Fearless Fury. Oh, I say you go for the finish, but they're backing. They don't love how this is going down. They want to be completely super secure here, and Fearless Furies gets 1 more lease on life.
They are in a good spot right now where if they get any opening, they can just rush down the base for the finish. And another fight here at the front door. We'll see if there's any play to be had here for Fearless Furies. They're trying to attack into this one. If Bunner's keeping good positioning on the back lines, he's getting focused here. He's staying alive, though. Very hard to kill at this point in the game. 2 players are down for Fearless Furies, so they are in critical condition right now. The game could be over very, very shortly as these kills get cleaned up. Overseas again. Nice isolation with OCs there on the Mirage. And now the final push into the Patron to finish off the game and to put this one to bed.
And Fearless Furies, you are out of cards to play. Yeah, you got Wraith in the back line, but you're not burning down all of Leviathan before they take down the Patron. Leviathan, 2 weeks in a row, getting that matchup up against Abraham's in the EU money match.
It seems the roster swaps may be paying dividends for Leviathan. They are now moving forward to the championship match. Overseas, Empty Dreams, Osis, Obi Kim, Freemark, and Flammable getting the job done. Impressive stuff. Was there a star performer as we take a look at some of the highlights? ZP, how would you describe this 30-plus minute game?
I think it was a little bit sloppy. I think it was a little bit messy, but the one thing that was pristine for Leviathan was overseas. That was a masterclass of holiday gameplay. Almost every lasso on point. The barrel disruption was key. And I think if overseas doesn't have the game of his life here, this easily could have gone the way of Fearless Furies.
On the other side for Fearless Furies, let's take a look at some of their plays in the highlights. Here we start with Cult on Shiv getting bullied. They had a tough get going out of the gates here, DDK.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough game for the Shiv. I think CP highlighted that there's a lot of nice counters on the other end to help deal with Shiv, and that made a lot of sense based off of how Leviathan were picking, that they were trying to make sure that they would be good to deal with that. But it was just a very hard game with all of the burst damage, I think, onto Shiv.
Mid-boss fights going back and forth. ZP, you felt this should have been one of the game-changing moments. It wasn't that way. What went down?
What went down is the fact that Fearless Furies realized, okay, we're down players, but we still got a Death Slam. We still got a Yamato that actually got pasted on trying to go in. But the Death Slam part was good. They got 2 rejuves and prevented what could have been a game-ending mid-boss from being something that they mostly, stop being an advantage to Leviathan. So it was a really good contest from Fearless Furies, and they were doing this all game long. Yamato and the Closet shenanigans aside, they were finding ways to keep the game close and stop Leviathan from getting an overwhelming game-ending advantage. But it was a struggle.
Infernus and Wraith were the top 2, I guess, scores when it comes to the Souls. Are they going to be high priority picks moving forward, DDK?
Yeah, they definitely will. I think we saw here why Infernus can be particularly just troublesome and really the GOAT still, I would say. I mean, it is hard to put Infernus against Wraith up against each other right now. I'm sure we're going to see more and more of this, but it still feels like Infernus is more of a nightmare just because of the burn damage that he can do and how he can play the 1v1s, I think, more effectively than Wraith. So ultimately, I think Infernus definitely has the edge from this meta, this patch, but you can still see that Arzo was very dangerous. I do feel like there were some spots though where Arzo was not positioning himself maybe in the best way. So I don't know if we saw the best look from the Wraith, but you can see 55k damage, their biggest contribution on the team by far. So definitely with a strong output, as you should expect.
For our amazing broadcast team, at 1 minute 18 into tonight's show, we had the poor goober, Viscous, on his bum, and he's just getting grabbed. If we could make that an emote called Goo Grab, I would love you forever. Lotu, I'm not looking purely into your eyes, but I'm kind of staring at you awkwardly. 55 kills to 30 kills. Leviathan winning a much closer than it should have been game. Sets up Leviathan versus a familiar face, the Abrams. Will be coming up in our grand final. ZP, was there an MVP in your eyes from this first game?
Yeah, I mean, it's in his praises for 30 minutes. I'll sing it again. It's got to be overseas. The holiday that was consistent all game long, where other people were having some issues. Nah. Spirit Holiday, still actually the truth, at least when you're landing every lasso and every barrel is on point. It's a high skill hero, but overseas made it look easy all game long. And I mean, truly, I think without this level of performance, this easily goes the other way.
Grab them and wrap it up. Overseas is going to lock up game number 1. You're going to see his team Leviathan moving on to the next round. We first handed out our MVP, but how about some highlights while we take a look at these? Big shout out to all of our subs and resubs. We had Kid Sarave coming in, Softman, Grayscale, CL Ogaro for 4 months in a row, Ultra Toasted, thanks for being here. By the way, CL, somebody wanted me to ban you. I refused after seeing your 4 months of supreme loyalty. Abrad, thank you for 3 months. We had Crococa coming in and dropping the prime like all of you primers should, and Flab by Face. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the sub. Shout out to everyone who used a instant sub to just spam the Pregnant Viper. I thought it would get us some money, did not think it would instantly convert into $25. There were 5 of you who subbed just so you could spam a Pregnant Viper. I want you to think about that while you watch these holiday highlights. DDK, how good is this guy?
Super good pocket. Like, really good. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, you got any like highlights for me? What's
No.
good about him?
I refuse.
You're like, I already did this.
I just want to be difficult for no reason other than making your life a misery. I don't know why I'm doing
I'm
this.
cool with it. We're vibing today. It's snowing here in Ohio. It's nothing but good vibes. I got the smoke flowing throughout the basement. We got Leviathan moving on to the grand finals. Be like me, throw on your sunnies, do what you need to do, because when we come back, it is our EU Grand Finals. We're starting with $600, but right below the stream over here on twitch.tv, there's a donate button. If you click that, you can give a little bit of your monies, whether it's Russian pesos or whatever you guys call those. Put them in the donation link. We'll be on the other side of the break telling you exactly how much we raised for the players.